Hello, everyone. It is Monday and it is the live show. Thank you all so much for being here. If you've never seen me before, hi, my name's ItsKim. This is my channel and this is my show where I talk about pop culture stuff that I care about. I really love iconic pop culture. I love psychology. I love talking about mental health. And I also love Britney Spears. So there's a lot of that coverage going on right now with the release of her book, The Woman in Me, which is doing amazing, 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 amazing. And we've been working through her book as well. So if you've never seen this show before, this is a live interactive show where I communicate with my community called Space Angels. Hello to all of my Space Angels. And if you are interested in becoming a member of my community, you are welcome to check out membership. It's a low price and I keep everybody the same level. If that's not something that you're in a position that you want to do right now, that's totally fine. If you allow gifts, you likely will get a membership hanging out in here long enough. We have gifting wars all the time. So make sure you are enabled to do that. And we'd love to see you be a part of our community. If you are watching on the replay, hello, replay crew. It is good to see you. There will be timestamps in the pinned comment below to help you jump around to the different places in the stream that you wish to see. We usually follow this format. We should go to the headline of the day, which is usually what's in the thumbnail. Then if there's another story we want to cover, we do that after. Then we have a halftime where we kind of just discuss stuff. And then we have a section near the end called What the What. And it's always when we kind of go over funny things that we see around the internet, whether it's stuff on Reddit or funny pictures or tons of different things. We just try to have fun with that segment. The whole idea is just having fun. And then we have just a closing discussion at the end. So that's usually the way that everything goes. So today we're going to be talking about Britney Spears and Janet Jackson, which I'm super, super excited for because I'm not going to lie to you guys. I get to rant about something today that I've wanted to rant about for years. And that's why I was a couple minutes late because I wanted to make sure I had all my ducks in a row so you guys could follow me through this because I have feelings. And when I have feelings, I like to make sure that they aren't just, ravings and screaming or whatever, because that's not really a good way to get your point across. I try to bring numbers, I try to bring facts, just like we do with looking at any headline. We try to go below the headline, look at the context, look at everything to really get a good idea of what is going on, as opposed to a snippet that really doesn't fully explain an issue, because it's very hard to make every issue into a sentence. Context is important. So I am just going to take a look here and check in with the chat before we get started with our main topics. I did want to let you guys know I woke up this morning to a message from our own General Scott. And I don't want to say anything that would I don't want to disclose anything of what's going on unless he wants to. So I'll let him tell those stories when he wants to. But he is going to be off today and he sent me a PayPal asking me to give some memberships. So he asked me to give 5. So I matched another 5 and sent those out to you guys before the stream started. So that is from him. And thank you very much to Scott for that and thinking of me and always your support. And I hope you have a good day today. Uh, and your message when you see this, Scott, I was laughing my head off. So thank you. So yeah, that's the first one. So as much as it says it's from me, it's also from Scott. So thank you very much. Sarai has been a member for a month. Hello, Sarai. It's good to see you. I'm glad you've been a member. Doro has been a member for a month as well. Chapter 28 broke my heart of the book. Yes, thank you for the book club. Yeah. We'll I think we're going over that today. Yeah, we're doing chapters 24 to 31, but we'll talk about that again a bit later. We're not quite there yet. I think we're going to do the headline first and then we'll do the book club. Denise, thank you. 5 months. 5 months is not enough. We'll keep it lifetime. Yay! Always welcome. Always welcome. Thank you, Denise. And Shauna came in with 10 gifted memberships. Thank you very much, Shauna, for your continued support of this channel. Always amazing. So appreciated. Love to see you here. Thank you. Thank you very much. I also wanted to give a shout out to Kimberly, who sent in some gifted memberships at the last minute of our stream on Friday. And producer sister and I didn't see it until the very, very end. And we tried to message in the chat and we couldn't get you. So I did reply to a comment that she left just saying thank you, but I wanted to give her a shout out on stream as well. Thank you very much for those gifted memberships and your support of this channel as always. So I think I think that is all the support. I think we are caught up on that front. How is everybody doing? I see lots of discussion, lots of talking, which is good to see. You guys want to let me know where you're watching from? Are you drinking anything today? Like I've got my frappuccino because there's right now you can go to the store and get pumpkin coffee creamer. So that's just happening. That's happening on a daily basis right now, and it's wonderful. Yes, Kimberly. Kimberly, thank you. Thank you for those gifted memberships. I really, really do appreciate it. Okay. So, just going through and oh my gosh, I don't know what was said, but I just saw a message from Carbon. I started saying, Kyle, you're not the first one to say that, and you won't be the fourth either. Our inside jokes are getting out of control, guys. Oh, Carbonite Stardust. Okay, I will answer this question for you. This is totally fine. Carbonite Stardust. Kim, do you wear foundation? If so, where do you find a shade that light? I am also that light. Tarte Cosmetics. I have had luck in the past with Fenty as well, but I prefer Tarte. And yeah, I'm pretty much the palest or the second palest shade. Always. Always. They have like they have a light shade range, but then they also have a fair shade range. That's where I hang out. Yeah, be what it be. Sorry, just trying to see here. There we go. My chat thing is like going really slow in StreamYard, so I do apologize. Shauna Brown just said, "It's Kim. You still drinking Friezo these days?" Right now. I just order it by like the case at this point. But the thing is, though, it is at the end of the day, like I feel silly when I buy it, but I'm like, if I went to Starbucks every day and got a Frappuccino, I'd be spending way more money. Way more money. Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, should we start with the topic of the day? Because I'm excited to talk about the topic of the day. And it is that. Sorry, let me do a proper intro for the timestamp. So the main story today is Britney and Janet are still bonded over Justin Timberlake. Apparently, they've been calling each other. This makes me very happy. This makes me so happy. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to read the article, and then I'm going to talk about something that I really want to talk about for a really, really long time, and I hope that that's okay. Okay. So I don't know how many of you guys have seen this headline. Just trying to get to where I need to go. This is the thing now, because I have all this stuff ready for the book club. And so I gotta like find where my spot is. Boom. Here we go. Found it. Sorry about that. Okay, so the article is exclusive from the Mirror, so I'm going to give them credit for that. And it's just the title of it is Britney Spears and Janet Jackson bond over Justin Timberlake's takedowns. After Britney's recent revelations about her ex-boyfriend, she's been talking to Janet Jackson, who also saw her reputation in tatters after the infamous Super Bowl performance with the singer. Britney Spears and Janet Jackson have a bond. They have both fallen foul of Justin Timberlake. And we could reveal Janet, 57, is guiding Britney, 41, through her current turmoil. Britney's most painful moments with NSYNC star Justin are once more in the spotlight after her memoir, The Woman in Me, was released. When they split in 2002, it was Britney who was reviled. Justin had fueled a narrative that the toxic singer had broken his heart by cheating on him, but did not mention the many times he had cheated on her. I feel like that should be in the sentence. I don't want to hear this anymore of it like, well, she did admit to cheating. Yes, she did. But he didn't. He didn't. That needs to be there. That's just my opinion. Sorry. 2 years later, Janet was vilified when he ripped her bodice and exposed her breast on live TV during the Super Bowl performance. Her reputation and career plummeted while his thrived, facing zero consequences for his involvement in the famous wardrobe malfunction. A source said Janet and Britney are still bonded by the backlash, and Janet has reached out to offer her support and encouragement. Britney was appalled by the way Janet was treated during the Super Bowl and felt she was being attacked by the same PR machine that had, I don't know how to say that word, but had gone after her. Both felt he had a lot to gain by tearing them down. They had several private conversations around that time, which picked up again recently. They have shared experience, and Janet wanted Britney to know that she is here for her. I love this. If this is true, I love this. I love seeing this. I love seeing performers support other performers, creators support other creators. We are all in this together. Cue High School Musical. Like, we're all in this same thing, and we know how brutal it can be. And it can be really isolating, I think, when you are an artist, from what I've seen, and people don't understand you. And sometimes I think other artists are the ones that are going to understand you the most, because you both understand the challenges and carrying that weight on your shoulders. So, considering how much Britney looks up to Janet, like, I know a lot of people talk about how much Britney looks up to Madonna, but oh my gosh, does Britney Spears look up to Janet Jackson? And I feel like you can see that in her dancing. Like, when you watch her, it's like, oh, the Janet influence is here, like, big time. Put a one in the chat if you know what I mean. Like, when you look at Janet and then you watch Britney, it's like, oh, I see the relation, essentially. So I think it's really, really special that, you know, Britney was supporting someone she really looked up to. And now Janet is trying to show love back to her through this time. Just amazing. I love it. And as producer sister has strongly, strongly stated to me over the past 24 hours, we want Scream 2. We want a collab. We want a collab of Britney and Janet. I have been saying forever that I want Britney to cover All Night Don't Stop. It needs to happen. It needs to happen, or they need to do a collab together. Just please, 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 please bring Madonna 2 for the heck of it. Have some fun. Let's go. Let's just have a powerhouse, moment. Let's go. Justin's apology. Oh, sorry, I skipped a spot. So Justin, 42, has since apologized for the takedown of both women. He did. And he said, I am deeply sorry for the times in my life where my actions contributed to the problem, where I spoke out of turn or did not speak up for what was right. I specifically want to apologize to Britney Spears and Janet Jackson, both individually, because I care and respect these women and know that I failed. Okay. His apology was prompted by the release of the New York Times documentary Framing Britney Spears. Can I just say, thank you, Mirror, for saying this. Thank you for putting this in perspective. It's not like he just apologized out of the goodness of his heart. He apologized because everybody was like, ew, when they thought of him after watching the documentary, and everyone was so mad. The documentary showed how Justin contributed to Britney being vilified in the media after their breakup. After Brit's latest revelations, we are not sure if Justin is done with the apologies yet. I mean, he shouldn't be, but, whatever. So, here is where my rant comes in. Because something I feel like when we talk about Justin and when we talk about Janet, we really only talk about the Super Bowl. But there's like a whole thing before this that I feel like people ignore. And I know you guys know that I go deep in the Britney stuff, but I also sometimes go down these like rabbit holes of different artists. And I don't know why, but it always happens when I'm not feeling well. So I'll be like sick in bed with a fever, and I pick an artist and I just go down the rabbit hole watching every documentary I can, every concert I can. And I can tell you, Janet has been on that list multiple times. And so yeah, the reality is the relationship between Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake goes back a long way. It actually goes back to a certain little tour, the Velvet Rope Tour. Now, I don't know how many of you guys remember this. I was personally like pretty young when this was going on, but I absolutely loved the Velvet Rope Tour. You can see it on YouTube now if you want to. There is a filmed show of it that you can watch. It's really good quality. The show is incredible. The show is incredible. And people don't talk about this connection. But NSYNC was one of the opening acts on this tour. So just going to go back to my script because I'm sure, as you can tell, I'm very excited to talk about this because I really, really wanted to, and I don't want to forget anything. Yes. So this whole time frame was the Velvet Rope album and the Velvet Rope tour. So Janet's album, The Velvet Rope, is nothing short of iconic and had the tour to match. And the tour took place in 1998. And I need you guys to hear me out on this just for a minute. Follow my roadmap. NSYNC's first album dropped in 1997. So the year before this tour happened. They were on tour with Janet Jackson in 1998. The idea that a boy band just starting out within a year is on tour with Janet Jackson is insane. It's absolutely insane because we have to remember this is Janet after Control. This is Janet after Rhythm Nation. This is Janet after, that Janet album. Janet was huge. Janet was a superstar. I am actually in shock that any artist on their debut album was opening for her. If you guys understand what I mean. Like, it's just, this was a massive, massive break for them. So I do want to clarify before any NSYNC hate comes at me. NSYNC fought very hard for their success. They are very talented. I have no doubt in my mind that they worked their butt off. And what I'm going to say here is not trying to diminish any of that. It is not hate at them whatsoever. So please understand that. But their first record, when it came out, was not an overnight success. It was promoted heavily in Europe before coming to the States. And at the time that this deal would have been made for the tour, they were not successful in the United States. And I want to show you guys what I mean, because when we look at the albums, right? And I'm going to go to numbers because as much as I know numbers aren't everything, they're really difficult to fight with, if you know what I mean. Like, they are what they are. They sold what they sold. So you would look at this and go, okay, well, if Janet's record hit number 1 on the Billboard 200, the album, and NSYNC's debut album hit number 2 on the Billboard 200. So that seems kind of even, right? It would make sense. But the thing is, NSYNC's album skyrocketed in sales after a Disney Channel special that happened on July 18th of 1998. The Velvet Rope Tour US tour dates began on July 9th, 1998, meaning that the deal would have been signed for them to be the opening act for this tour before they had that massive hit in sales because of the Disney Channel special, if you guys are following me. The Disney Channel special really introduced them to the United States audience and really catapulted them from there. But prior to that, they really were not that well known in the States. And I'm going to show you this again through numbers. So NSYNC singles in the US performance, and I know this is super nerdy, but please stay with me. I Want You Back, which I'm listing as the first single, even though it's technically inaccurate for the United States because it was the first single they released in Europe. So there was a possibility that someone in the US had known about them because of that single first. It was released in the US in December of 1997, and it peaked on the Billboard Hot 100 at 13. Tearing Up My Heart was released in February of 1997 and peaked on the Billboard Hot 100 at 59. 59! Okay? Then the next one we have, and this would have been, so this is after Disney Channel special. This is after Velvet Rope Tour has begun. So, they're getting a lot of promo, they're getting a lot of attention, and God Must Have Spent a Little More Time on You was released in the US in October of 1998 and peaked on the Hot 100 at 8. All other singles they had, to the best of my knowledge, were not officially released in the United States. So we do not have a number 1 single. We have one top 10 single after all of this promo. That's it. That's what we got. So I'm not trying to bash them because honestly, actually, this is a bit of a testament to them because they had a lot of cards stacked against them. They had been working and working and working, and they just were not taking off the way that I think a lot of people would have expected. Looking back on it, we would have thought that they were more successful right off the gate. No, they were not even close. Janet Jackson, on the other hand, at the time, I'm going to look at her US performance in 1997 to 1998. Now, I have to get a little technical here with you guys on a few of these things because the rules regarding the Billboard Hot 100 were stupid and they've been edited since. But at the time, there were a lot of rules as far as depending on how the single was released, whether or not it could chart on the Billboard Hot 100. So even if it had a music video, even if it had full promo or whatever, if it was not released as a CD single in that country, it was not eligible to chart on the Billboard Hot 100. Is what I've been led to believe. I think that's dumb, but that's the reality of what we were talking about. So, Gone Till It's Gone, Got Till It's Gone was the first single off of The Velvet Rope, released in September of 1997. It was not released as a commercial single and therefore was not eligible to appear on the main Billboard Hot 100 chart. We're going to see this a few times. However, it still managed to chart on 4 other charts. 2 of them in the top 10, 1 of them in the top 5. That's not anything to ignore, to be blunt with you. So the first main single in the US was Together Again, which I think anybody that was, around during that time, we remember this song. This song was everywhere. And it peaked on the Billboard Hot 100 at number 1, followed by I Get Lonely, which was released in February of 1998, and that peaked on the Billboard Hot 100 at number 3. And then the 4th main single that came out in the US, which technically was not an official physical release and therefore was ineligible for the Hot 100, still managed to chart on 5 Billboard charts, one of them in the dance club songs hitting number 1. So my point is, even when Janet was not being fully promoted, she was still blowing up the charts. Janet was a superstar. Janet was in another league. She was in a league of her own. And that is so important to remember while we go through this time period. So, just going to go back to my script here because I don't want to forget anything. So, sharing the stage with Janet was a massive break for NSYNC. And the other thing that really gets me about this, and this is deep cut, but I'm sorry, this is my opinion. There was another US opener for the Velvet Rope Tour, and that was Usher. And we need to keep in mind that when he was selected, his most recent album peaked at number 4 on the Billboard 200. He had 3 singles. The first peaked at number 2, the second peaked at number 1, and the third at number 2. So when Usher took that stage, he had hits to play. He had songs people would know, and he had a successful record. When NSYNC was selected to be the opening act, they didn't have any of that. Nothing. So just as a thing for perspective. And again, this was not any tour. This was the Velvet Rope Tour. And I don't know how to explain this. if you don't know this tour, this was an incredibly influential show. Janet did a lot of firsts on this show. It's my understanding that she was kind of the one that started the whole bringing a fan up on stage and having kind of that spicy moment with the fan. Like that was her. That was her with Rope Burn, is my understanding of the situation. So to this day, artists really do look at this tour as the gold standard of what a pop star tour should be. It tells a story. It is intense from beginning to end. It is chock full of entertainment. It is so good. And these are just some of the celebrities that I have seen that have openly stated, or you can see it within their work, that they were influenced by this tour. And this was just me trying to get some names together this morning. I probably could do a whole, another bunch of slides if I really, really dig, but these were just some of the ones. So again, this was not just a tour. This was a big deal. And the Velvet Rope itself is basically a blueprint for pop innovation and how to do a good personal, vulnerable, but powerful record. And is still regarded so highly to this day. This was an article I found that talked about it on its 20th anniversary, which was in 2017, just talking about how much it's still influencing people and how loved it is. So when you consider all of that, what Justin did at the Super Bowl takes a whole nother level, because this woman didn't have to choose him. The promo that they got, the exposure that they got, and not only that, but the lessons that they would have learned on this tour watching Janet Jackson be the iconic superstar queen that she is. I don't even know how to put value on that. I don't even know how to say like how to classify it or rank it or anything. They had the opportunity of a lifetime being on this tour, and she could have picked anyone else. Anyone else, and she took a chance on this boy band and boys that had ramen hair, and I don't even know, like, but she saw heart in them and she wanted to support them. And we're going to talk more about that in a minute. But it's just, it's so gross. And again, it's Justin showing he could use someone as a trampoline to catapult himself. And it didn't matter what history they had. It didn't matter how much someone had stuck up for him or been kind to him or been a good friend to him. Didn't matter. Didn't matter because it was about him. It was about him making himself more famous. Now, I wanted to read this to you guys because I thought it was really, really good, and I want to own it right off the bat. This is from Wikipedia. I don't ever do this because I don't believe that Wikipedia is a source. It's academically, it's not deep enough. It's not deep enough because people can edit Wikipedia and put whatever they want. However, when we're talking about this time frame, it's very difficult when you're looking at internet research because we're talking 1997, 1998. The internet is not like what it is now is not what it was in 1997, 1998. And some of these articles get lost through weird formatting, or they just get taken down, or you have to go through archives and try to find them, or they were just in print and they're next to impossible to find. But I can tell you, I have fact checked this to the best of my ability, and I do believe that this is true. And I hope you guys can understand like why I'm using it because I don't know how else to better explain it. And I think it is written very well. So this is on the Wikipedia page for the Velvet Rope Tour. And this section specifically talks about the opening acts being Justin Timberlake and Usher. The tour notably promoted Justin Timberlake and Usher when Jackson selected both as opening acts during their early careers, exposing them to a wider audience. I'm sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. Both artists credit Jackson as a major showmanship influence from both an entertainment and evolution perspective. While Timberlake was part of NSYNC, Jackson personally selected them to open for the tour, helping introduce the relatively unknown group to the public. Timberlake said, "I had her poster on my wall, so I'm psyched." We're going to talk about Usher later. Just notice the differences between the way that Usher talks about Janet and the way Justin does. It just hurts. Later describing the experience as fulfilling, which I did confirm that as well. Jackson performed with the group on several dates, including joining them for a live a cappella rendition of Stevie Wonder's Overjoyed. A biography stated that it was a highlight moment for Justin Timberlake's career, which gave Justin a chance to show family and friends how far he had come. I don't even want to dig into that. I can't. I just can't. The tour was the largest audience the group had ever performed for at the time, with JC commenting, "It was great because we got to see real professional tours." And not only that, she was really sweet. We really enjoyed it. And Chris Hermansink also added, "She's very good at entertaining. We learned a lot. That if people want to just hear the music, they can buy the CD, but the whole live aspect of changing the songs every night and the whole theatrical performance that she puts on. She's definitely one of our mentors when it comes to touring and the stage show. Her show told a story, and that's what people like to see." Again, very, very kind from Chris to Janet. JC, kind to Janet. Following the tour, Timberlake and Jackson became good friends, ultimately leading to Timberlake performing alongside Jackson during a segment of Jackson's controversial Super Bowl halftime show performance. Now, Usher, on the other hand, described opening for Jackson as the biggest event of his career and an honor, saying, "She is a definite entertainer, works hard, and sweats every night. I learned a lot about how to make an artist look like a star. Also, apparently, at the time, Nick Lachey and the group 98 Degrees opened several dates and experienced increased commercial success following the tour. So, my point being, if Usher is literally saying that that was the biggest event of his career, I just have a lot of trouble with when someone opens up a door for another person and they walk through that door, and then it's almost like they go back through it and they trip the person that opened the door for them. It's not a cute look. It's not okay. And people just think that it's, he was just a jerk to her with the Super Bowl thing, but it's like, no, you have to look at it within the whole context. Context is important, and that's why I said I've been waiting to rant about this forever. But you have to find the right time and you have to find the right reason and the perspective of why it's important. But in closing, I think it's important that we remember that these women have been silenced. Britney couldn't talk for years about this. Literally, she was booed going out in public after the breakup, and people really enjoyed vilifying her. Janet was blacklisted, and her career suffered greatly, whereas Justin soared and became a superstar. They both deserve better, and I love to see girls support girls. And I'm just really happy to see the truth coming out here, finally, and I want more Britney and Janet. I'm manifesting this. I want this to happen. So I'm going to end with a poll, and I'm going to ask you guys whether or not you would love to see a Britney Janet collab. That's how we're going to end this, and I hope that all of that made some sense, and you guys don't think I'm just absolutely unhinged right now, but it just bothers me so much. and I hope that does make sense. So I am just going to leave the chat open for a minute. So if you guys have any questions or comments about the story that you want to share, I'm going to go back through the chat in a moment or so as I get this poll up and running. So would you listen to a collab between Janet and Britney? Yes or no? Here we go. Carbonite Stardust. A Kim rant is the most polite rant ever, and it comes with sources, which are all in the talk in the description, by the way. I didn't give my speculation rant. Oh no! Oh no, my show includes speculation and opinion. That was bad. I should have had that up. That's my bummer. I'm sorry about that. There it is. But in all fairness, what I did talk about, I took from facts. Or I took from other research and other sources, and you can check them in the description below. It's never my intention to mislead, and if I say something wrong and it comes to my attention, I will correct myself. Jen, I would die. I know, right? But would it not be just so cool? It would be so cool. Shauna, who voted no? Their hand slipped. Their hand just slipped. That's all. That's all that it is. Ryan Appleton said, if Janet and Britney did a collab, they should get the duo Grammy. Oh, they should get all the Grammys. All of them. All of them. Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody's kind of here for it. We'd all listen to it at least. I think, and that's the thing. I think that would be a single that could take over the world if they did it. But regardless, I just want them both to be happy, as always. That's what I want. You guys can just give me 1 second. I just got to check in quickly with my producer. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So we can move on to Britney Book Club if you guys would like. I'm going to stop the poll because we've almost got like 70 votes up in here. That's pretty. Yeah, we're 97%. I think we know where this community stands. We want Janet and Britney. We want Janet and Britney, as we should. Okay, so I have prepared the next book club. Now, I originally planned to have the book club be in 7 parts, but I think I can do it in 6. Some of these chapters are very short. So I was looking at the plan and I reevaluated a little bit. So I am prepared today to cover chapters 24 to 31, but I recognize that I told you guys that it would be 24 to 29. So unless somebody here would really rather I hold off, I can do that today. If you guys want me to wait, I'll just put the next 2 parts with the next one, and we'll just extend the chapter count on those book club episodes because I don't want to mess anybody up. And I know some of you guys are following this. But if you guys are okay with me going to 31, I can do that. So here's what I'm going to do. If you're not okay with me, okay, so listen, if you're not okay with me doing chapters 30 and 31, I'm going to ask you to put a 3 in the chat. And if we don't have very many 3s, we're going to continue up to 31, if you guys are okay with that. I'm just going to give you guys a second. Katie? Tooth. I'm ready now. Oh my goodness. Okay, everybody's saying 1 like it's fine. But just so nobody's going to be mad at me. No one's going to be mad. Okay, then we're just going to go through. We're going to go through with what I've provided just so you know we're all good. I know. It's right there. And that's the thing. Anytime we have any numbers, it's going to be a joke. Always, 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 always. Okay. So here we go. So for the book club, I will let you guys know there may be some speculation and opinion and should not be taken as fact. Hi, YouTube human reviewer. Nothing explicit is going to be shown here. We are going to follow your terms and guidelines to the best of our ability, as I always do, because as I always say on this show,
I'm trying.
All I can do is try. That's all I could do. So, all right. I also do just want to say before we start that this is the part in the book that goes through some really dark times in Britney's life. When the documentaries came out, she spoke about them, and I got the feeling that she really didn't like everyone kind of reliving these horrible, painful moments in her life, and that she found it to be embarrassing. That was the view I got. So that was the vibe that I was picking up. So for that reason, I will not be using photos during that time out of respect to her. And every part up until this point, I have tried to find pictures that are of that time frame that relate to the situation. So it just kind of helps put, images to the timeline. I'm not doing that with this out of respect to her. Britney has said that she's really, really proud of Blackout, which was a big part of her life during this time. So instead, I will be using photos from that album shoot, and I hope you guys are okay with that. So we're going to start chapter 24. Britney discusses her experience with Paris Hilton. They went out together, again, just really forming their friendship, and they went through a bit of a party stage, although it was not as wild as the press portrayed. She clarified that she wasn't drinking that much. Like, she was having fun, and she did drink and did get drunk at points, but I mean, it wasn't like a constant thing. Um, and she also explains that at that time she was using um, a medication that I'm going to call A. Um, and she was using it as an antidepressant because she was so upset and so depressed with everything that had been going on. And I really liked this quote. She said, "I never had a drinking problem. I like to drink, but it was never out of control. Do you want to know my substance of choice? The only thing I really did except for drinking? A, the amphetamine that's given to kids for ADHD. A made me high, yes, but what I found far more appealing was that it gave me a few hours of feeling less depressed. It was the only thing that worked for me as an antidepressant, and I really felt like I needed one of those." And I love that the ownership, but also I think the relatability of that for many people. I think a lot of people self-medicate, um, and it's much more common than I think people like to admit. But I was again, this was another thing in this book that I really appreciated that when Britney was wrong or when she was doing things she shouldn't have been doing, she admits it. She's not painting herself as perfect at all, and I really, really did enjoy that about this book. She does recall a night where she had quite a bit to drink with Paris Hilton and Lindsay Lohan. I think we remember that night, which ended up leading to a fight with her mom. And Britney reflects on the strained relationship with her family and the lack of support that she was receiving. And I loved this quote. My mom always made me feel like I was bad or guilty of something, even though I had worked so hard to be good. And that's what my family has always done, treated me like I was bad. The fight marked a turning point in my relationship with my mom. It couldn't go back. I couldn't go back to the way it was before. We tried, but it didn't really work. No matter how many fans I had in the world, my parents never seemed to think I was worth much. How could you treat your child like that when she was going through a divorce, when she was lonely and lost? Giving a person no grace in a hard time is just not nice, especially when you can't take as good as you give. When I started to speak up and throw it back at them a little, God knows they were far from perfect, they didn't really like it that much, but they still held so much emotional power over me. Yeah. So then we move on to chapter 25, where Brittany reflects on the experience of motherhood and the immense pressure that she faced, both personally and in the public eye. She expresses her love for her kids, but also reveals the challenges she encountered, including feeling isolated from her friends and struggling with her postpartum depression. She then talks about the passing of her beloved Aunt Sandra. Um, and I think a lot of people don't seem to really understand this, that Aunt Sandra and her mom operated a business together. Aunt Sandra was very present in her life, and they had a very close connection. So there was a quote that I'm just going to read. Brittany said that Aunt Sandra, and then this is her quote, she was like my second mother. By Aunt Sandra's grave at the funeral, I cried harder than I ever had. And she shares how her freedom and security were taken away from her, while others around her faced no consequences for their actions. Brittany talks about relying on people who could protect her from her controlling family and distract her from the constant surveillance that she endured. She also discusses the difficult custody battle with her ex husband, Kevin, who withheld the children from her for weeks. Brittany's desperation and grief reached a breaking point, and this is when she shaved her head, an action that was met with ridicule and judgment from the public. Despite the difficulties, she emphasized her overwhelming desire to be with her children and just how much joy that they gave her. And this next quote, I wish she could have screamed this from the rooftops and people would have got it. She said, with my head shaved, everyone was so scared of me, even my mom. No one would talk to me anymore because I was too ugly. My long hair was a big part of what people liked. I knew that. I knew a lot of guys thought that long hair was hot. Shaving my head was a way of saying to the world, F you. You want me to be pretty for you? F you. You want me to be good for you? F you. You want me to be your dream girl? F you. I've been a good girl for years. I smiled politely while TV show hosts leered at my breasts, while American parents said I was destroying their children by wearing a crop top, while executives patted my hand condescendingly and second guessed my career choices, even though I'd sold millions of records, while my family acted like I was evil, and I was tired of it. All of that. I really feel like if you have any interest in reading this book, I would say from chapter 24 forward, if you don't know about this situation, you're going to learn so much. And I think you're really going to start to understand her a lot better. And I think it's also a very sobering thing for us to look at and to understand our culture and what was going on. Because I don't think that anyone should have been pushed to the point that they felt this way, because it took extreme circumstances for her to reach this point. And then when she took what we perceived to be extreme measures, we all thought it was weird. I kind of feel like her shaving her head was tame compared to just all of the rage that she was experiencing. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but it's just she was doing her best to cope. And I don't know if I would have coped any better. Bluntly put. Anyone- Okay. Then we go into chapter 26. After her divorce, she had to leave her house and go and live in a different house, which was very difficult for her. The paparazzi began to follow her relentlessly. She started wearing wigs to disguise herself, but felt disconnected from the world if she couldn't see her children. She was followed by paparazzi and they harassed her, taking pictures and asking invasive questions. They continued to bother her even after she snapped and hit a paparazzi's car with an umbrella. And I think a lot of us remember this. Um, she said it was pathetic, really. An umbrella. You can't even do damage with an umbrella. It was a desperate move by a desperate person. And she mentions that her ex husband, Sam, has tried to comfort her about this time in her life because it still really bothers her, which is, again, part of why I'm not using those photos. Then we go into chapter 27. And this chapter it's loaded. It's loaded. She describes feeling judged and abandoned by her family due to her appearance after shaving her head and going to rehab to gain custody or to regain custody of her children. And she explains the rehab stint in this paragraph. And I think these passages are so important, which is why I have them here. That winter, I'd been told it would help me get custody back if I went to rehab. And so, even though I felt I had more of a rage and grief problem than a substance problem, I went. And when I arrived, my father was there. He sat across from me. There were 3 picnic tables between us, and he said, "You are a disgrace." I look back now and I think, why didn't I call Big Rob to help me? Security guard who was very close to her. I was so ashamed and embarrassed already. But here was my dad telling me I was a disgrace. It was the definition of beating a dead horse. He was treating me like a dog, an ugly dog. I had nobody. I was so alone. I guess one positive of rehab was that I started the healing process. I was determined to make the best of a dark situation. When I got out, I was able to get temporary 50-50 custody through a great attorney who helped me. But the battle kept raging with Kevin, and it was eating me alive. And then we talked about the VMAs. And I'm just going to let her explain it because I think she can explain it much better than I can. Backstage at the VMAs that night, nothing was going right. There was a problem with my costume and with my hair extensions. I hadn't slept the night before. I was dizzy. It was less than a year since I'd had my second baby in 2 years, but everyone was acting like me not having six-pack abs was offensive. I couldn't believe I was going to have to go out on stage feeling the way I felt. I ran into Justin backstage. It had been a while since I'd seen him. Everything was going great in his world. He was at the top of his game in every way, and he had a lot of swagger. I was having a panic attack. I hadn't rehearsed enough. I hated the way I looked, and I knew it was going to be bad. I went out there and did the best that I could in that moment in time, which, yes, granted, was far from my best at other times. I could see myself on the video throughout the auditorium while I performed. It was like looking at myself through a funhouse mirror. Just keep going. I'm not going to defend that performance or say that it was good. But I will say that as performers, we have bad nights, and they usually don't have consequences so extreme. You also usually don't have one of the worst days of your life in the same exact place that your ex has one of his best. Justin glided down the runway into his performance. He was flirting with girls in the audience, including one who turned around and arched her back, shaking her boobs as he sang to her. Then he was sharing the stage with Nelly Furtado and Timbaland, So fun, so free, so light. Later that night, the comedian Sarah Silverman came out on stage to roast me. She said that at the age of 25, I'd done everything worthwhile in my life I'd ever do, and she called my two babies the most adorable mistakes you'll ever see. I didn't hear that until later, though. At the time, I was backstage sobbing hysterically. Yeah, yeah. I had the feeling that those were the two biggies because there's always been theories for years about what happened backstage. It was my understanding that originally Chris Angel was supposed to be performing alongside her, and that was going to kind of give more dimension to the performance, and that kind of fell through at the last minute, and then other stuff just started falling apart, and it was just a domino effect of not good. Um, but I had heard the rumor about Justin and about Sarah, so that for me was kind of like okay, the pieces are falling into place there for that night for me because I was always kind of unsure. And even when I did my blackout album video where I just talked about the whole record, I said it's hard to know exactly what happened because there's so many pieces of information and there's very little confirmation. Um, and I'm really surprised she actually talked about it at all, but I'm glad she did. To finish off the chapter, she okay, then she goes on to reflect on the media's harsh treatment of her and the focus on her abilities as a mother rather than her accomplishments as an artist. And despite the challenges she faced, she expressed determination and resilience, saying, "My management team quit. A bodyguard went to court with Gloria Allred by his side as a witness in the custody case. He said I was doing substances. He wasn't cross examined. A court appointed parenting coach said that I loved my children and that we were clearly bonded. She also said there was nothing at all in my home that could be called ABUSC. But that part didn't make headlines." I just wanted to put a spotlight on that one because, yeah. Then we go into chapter 28, where she recalls a visit with one of her sons in January of 2008. And this is where it gets really heavy, guys. So, trigger warning on this point. One day in early January of 2008, I had the boys, and at the end of the visit, a security guard who used to work for me and now worked for Kevin came to pick them up. First, he put Preston in the car. When he came to get Jaden, the thought hit me: I may never see my boys again. Given how things had been going with my custody case, I became terrified that I wouldn't get the kids again if I gave them back. I ran into the bathroom with Jaden and locked the door. I just couldn't let him go. I didn't want anyone taking my baby. A friend was there and came to the bathroom door and told me that the security guard would wait. I held Jaden and I cried so hard, but no one was giving me extra time. Before I knew what was happening, a SWAT team in black suits burst through the bathroom door as if I'd hurt someone. The only thing I was guilty of was feeling desperate to keep my own children for a few more hours and to get some assurance I wasn't going to lose them for good. I just looked at my friend and I said, "But you said he would wait." Once they had taken Jaden from me, crap, I can't see. Once they had taken Jaden from me, they tied me onto a gurney and took me to the hospital. That just breaks my heart, that one. Britney was later released from the hospital after a 72-hour hold, but the damage was already done, and her custody arrangement was affected. She felt unsupported by her family and believed they were not on her side. Additionally, she then discovered her sister's pregnancy through tabloid news and learned about her sister's discontent with their parents. Britney reflects on her deteriorating mental state and questions whether her suspicions about her family were merely paranoia. Then we go into chapter 29. In an effort to deal with her depression, Britney admits to taking a lot of A and feeling angry about her failed marriage with Kevin. She started to date a photographer who provided her attention and support during a time when she felt misunderstood and hounded by the paparazzi. Britney recalls a dangerous car chase with the photographer and explains that she felt alive in that moment. She acknowledges her rebellious behavior and her feeling of anger, wanting to escape from the media and the paparazzi. And then she expressed her belief that her family, particularly her father, and his friend Lou Taylor, were involved in planning the conservatorship. So, these are Britney's words, not mine. I'd later come to believe something had changed that month, since the last time I was brought to the hospital for evaluation. My father had struck up a very close relationship with Louise Lou Taylor, who he worshipped. She was front and center during the implementation of the conservatorship that would later allow them to control and take over my career. Lou, who had just started a new company called TriStar Sports and Entertainment Group, was directly involved with calling the shots right before the conservatorship. At the time, she had few real clients. She basically used my name and hard work to build her company. Conservatorships, also called guardianships, are usually reserved for people with no mental capacity, people who can't do anything for themselves. But I was highly functional. I'd just done the best album of my career. I was making a lot of people a lot of money, especially my father, who I found out took a bigger salary than he paid me. He paid himself more than 6 million, while paying others close to him tens of millions more. The thing is, you can have a conservatorship that lasts for 2 months and then the person gets on track and you let them control their life again. But that wasn't what my father wanted. He wanted far more. It felt like my father and Lou's employee Robin Greenhill ruled my life and monitored every move I made. I'm a 5'4" pop star who calls everyone sir and ma'am, and they treated me like I was a criminal or a predator. There were times when I needed my father over the years and I reached out and he wasn't there. But when it came time for him to be the conservator, of course he was on the case. He had always been about the money. And that I think that was a moment where everyone was screaming. um there is so much in this chapter about the conservatorship and how wrong it was. The many issues with her father overseeing it. She talks about the money and the conflict of interests, and she concludes by saying that she was informed the conservatorship after being taken to the hospital against her will. Then we go to the next one, chapter 30. Britney discusses how her mom wrote a memoir during this time. This whole chapter is just her dragging her mom. Oh. Brittany discusses how her mother wrote a memoir during this time. Lynn wrote about witnessing her daughter shave her head and reflected on how she used to be such a happy child. However, instead of showing concern for Brittany's struggles, her mother shared her mistakes on television to promote her book. Brittany criticized her mother for basically banking on her name and talking about sorry, Brady criticizes her mother for trading in on the family name and then talking about her siblings and what they were going through, as well as her own struggles. She's frustrated that her mother capitalized on her darkest moments and expressed her disappointment at how her mom prioritized making money over supporting her kids during difficult times. Brittany emphasizes her desire to protect her own children from experiencing similar hardships and shares her anger towards her parents, believing that others would understand why she doesn't want them in her life if they were in her shoes. Bye, Lynn. Bye, Felicia. Chapter 31. Brittany expresses her frustration and disbelief with the conservatorship imposed on her. She questions how she was deemed incapable of taking care of herself, but was then made to work on a TV show, How I Met Your Mother, and go on a demanding world tour. Brittany feels that her parents took control of her life, even taking away her womanhood. She reflects on her father's influence and realizes that he saw the conservatorship as a means to benefit the family's financial situation. She is left feeling horrified and controlled, realizing that she was nothing to her family than a source of cash flow. And this is the last part of the book club today. This is the last quote. I wanted to share with you guys. At my house, my father took over my little study and my bar area and turned it into his office. There was a bowl there that had a bunch of receipts in it. Yes, here's my confession. I was so nerdy that I kept all my receipts in a bowl. Each week, I would add up my expenses, old school style, to keep track of my deductions for taxes. I'm sorry, can anyone just imagine Britney doing this? I love it. Even when I was going through a wild spell, the fundamentals of who I was as a person were still there. To me, that bowl of receipts was proof that I was still capable of managing my affairs. I knew musicians who did hard substances, got in fistfights, threw TVs out of hotel windows. Not only didn't steal anything or hurt anyone or do any things, I was keeping track of my tax deductions. Not anymore. My father shoved aside my bowl of receipts, setting up his things on the bar. I just wanted to let you know, he said. I call the shots. You sit right there in that chair, and I tell you what goes on. I looked at him with a growing sense of horror. I am Britney Spears now, he said. And that's it. That's chapter 31. So, what I'd like to do is the next book club will do chapters 32 to 40. And then the following we'll do 40 to 49, which is the last chapter in the book. Are you guys okay with that? Because it's 8 chapters and then 9 chapters, and some of them are really short. So that's where we're at when it comes to the book. Oh, thank you. Hi, Lewis. Good to see you. Hello, Lewis. Lewis's channel is in the description. You can check it out, Nerd Report. He talks a lot about aliens and other nerdy things. And then Nerd Report Daily, where you guys just have really fun streams and other stuff. It's just a good time. It's a good time. Yeah. Loki just said, Jamie really said I'm Britney Spears. Now I read that in his evil demonic country southern accent. I think too, as we go through these last chapters, we have to keep in mind, and I think I saw some of you guys talking about it in the chat briefly, that Britney's dad isn't doing well. And I've seen that from independent reporting, and I've also heard it from what I would consider to be incredibly reliable sources. He's not doing well. And he hasn't been doing well for a long time. And it does seem that Britney is open to settling, but I think that that's more of a calculated move than I think a lot of people are giving her credit for. She doesn't want to have regrets. She is a good person. And I think her wanting to come to the table and find a resolution is just another testament to the strength that she has. Because I don't think many of us would have any mercy left for someone after they did something like this to us. And the thing is, we're just starting. We're just starting. Yeah. Randa from Iowa. Devil is collecting his dues. I have zero pity for that monster, and she's a way bigger heart than I could imagine. Yep. Yep. I'm not going to lie to you guys. That last group of chapters was really hard for me to read the first time. It was hard the second time. It was still hard the third time. I don't know when that time frame is going to be any easier to look at. Because the problem is it's also holding up a mirror to us as a society and the way that we accepted the media treating people. And not only that, but seeing the insane double standards that were on her that other celebrities didn't have to deal with. And I will say one clip that lives rent free in my mind of that time frame is the helicopter shot following Britney's ambulance to the hospital. And if you've seen that clip, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But it just shows this sea of paparazzi trying to get pictures of her inside that ambulance, following her to emerge. And it's just the most disgusting thing. And I think it just is a perfect example of the cruelty that she experienced. And I'm just so thankful every day that she made it through, because it's really shocking. It's really, really shocking. Yeah. Sabrina just said, it shows what a good heart she has. No matter what, he is her dad. I'm sure she has love for him. It takes a lot of strength to forgive a monster. It does. And the thing is, too, if I can just say, forgiving someone doesn't mean they get to come back into your life. Forgiving someone doesn't mean that what they did doesn't matter. You know, forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness is releasing that anger and that pain and all of that negativity that you have towards a person. Um, and choosing to move on in your life without it. It does not mean that I really don't like the sentiment of like, if you forgive someone, it's like it never happened. No, no, that's not. You still have to protect yourself. You still have to take care of you. And if it's not healthy for you to be around somebody, even after forgiveness, don't. Don't. I kind of feel like it's the, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice. Or no, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I very much feel that. So it's hard. Yeah. Jackie Swan. These people were just jackals feeding off of her pain. It was sick. Yeah. Yeah. Autumn Blonde. I'm in tears trying to imagine how so many hurt her, those that were supposed to love her. I hope her reward in heaven will be her payback for the hell she's lived on this earth. I just hope that her future is just full of beautiful moments, and that she will find the right people in her life that will love her, and that she will experience having unconditional love because she deserves it, as we all do. And it's really, really sad. I did want to mention we did have a little bit of support that I did not cover while I was doing the main topics in the book club. Jackie Swan, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Thank you for becoming a space angel. It is good to see you. Thank you for joining. And Doro gifted 1 membership. Thank you very much for doing that. That's very, very kind of you. So that brings us to 22 members today so far, which is wonderful. I'm amazed at how many you guys did on Friday still. It kind of like blew my mind a bit. So thank you very much for that. It was very, very kind of you. Hello, Marcella. Hello, Marcella. Hello, Bella. And hello, Itty Bitty Bing Bing. All right. So we are now at halftime. And I'm just going to check in with you guys, see how everybody is doing. Are we doing okay? Just checking in with this chat, see how you guys are all doing. Thank you for choosing me today. Thank you for joining me today. Please remember to hit that like button. It helps out my channel a lot. I very much appreciate it. Also, if you have not subscribed, please do so. Please, please, please do so. I would very much appreciate that. I really want to keep doing this. I really love what I do. And I'm hoping that I can get to a point that we can get to 30,000 subs. Sometimes it feels like YouTube doesn't want me to. So if that's something you are willing to do, I would very much appreciate it. Hello, Hen Solo the chicken. I just saw you come in. Hello. Good to see you. The name always makes me laugh. Oh my goodness. Um, okay. So we do have a what the what that we can do. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm seeing stuff in the chat and you guys are kind of like, there's a discussion going on right now about the conservatorship. You see here. Regarding Britney and dementia. Okay. So if I can just explain this from my understanding of it. Keeping in mind, I don't have the documents in front of me. I do not have everything in front of me. What my memory serves me correctly, some of the documents that were filled out regarding Britney being placed in the conservatorship said that she was struggling with, I believe it was worded symptoms of dementia. And they had a doctor that was that specialized in geriatric cases, and that was the person that left that note. And the problem is, as you start to look at dementia and the long-term effects of dementia and what somebody looks like at diagnosis normally compared to what they look like 15 years later, the math ain't mathin'. It's not mathing. Um, and I don't understand it because I know there's some people that say like, well, maybe that's just saying that she was struggling with like some memory loss or amnesia. Then why would they not just put memory loss or amnesia? Why would you bring up why would you bring up dementia? It's such a strange thing, and it's kind of been one of those things they haven't had, I don't believe they had enough medically to submit to the court to be able to maintain that, from what I understand. There's a lot of the court document stuff that's very complicated, and it's honestly one of those things that I hope as time goes on and I can learn more about law and I can learn more about the way that those things are drafted, that I'll be able to understand them better. And I know that there are incredible YouTubers out there that really go through those legal documents and break them down. Emily D. Baker's done some great breakdowns. BJ's done some great breakdowns. Love both of them. Um, it's super, super complicated and layered. But the reality is the way that the conservatorship rolled out, from how it's been explained to me, and keeping in mind I'm a Canadian and I didn't have as much education about the American Constitution as I'm sure many Americans in this chat have had. I'm aware of the Constitution. I'm aware of American history, but we didn't go super super deep into the actual Constitution. But from what I understand, the conservatorship was unconstitutional. It was wrong from the very beginning, based on what I've seen, in my opinion, and that has made that whole topic very difficult and very loaded, and it's also very, um, eye-opening how many people are still, even now, saying, "Well, maybe the conservatorship wasn't a bad idea." Again, conservatorship, I feel like it's like the Princess Bride joke of, like, that you keep using that word. I don't think you know what it means. Britney did not need a conservatorship. Conservatorships were not created for people that were going through struggles like Britney. That was not what it was for. Her being put into a conservatorship, period, was, and I'm going to say the word because I don't care right now, conservatorship abuse. It was an abuse of the system. It was not okay. It was never okay. And that's a huge thing that I think people really miss when they talk about this. They just see someone who was struggling with their mental health and needed help and think, oh, at least her family did something to try to help her. That was not help. It was not help. It just traumatized her further. And they put someone who had a history of driving businesses into the ground. They picked him, someone who she was afraid of, someone that had not been in her life, someone she did not have a good relationship with, someone who had had claims of, not great behavior filed in courts of law through his marriages. Put him in charge of all of this. It makes no logical sense. None. The only thing that makes sense about it, in my opinion, is money. And that's really what you have to follow when you look at this situation. So I'm just going to look this up. If we look at the symptoms of dementia, I feel like putting them on Britney, it doesn't work. And honestly, if it was dementia, she would have been one of the youngest people probably in history to be diagnosed with it. I think I actually did do a deep dive on that. It's just bonkers. And normally, because it is in the brain, people that have dementia, they don't make it for usually more than 10 years after, has been the average that I've seen. So the fact that arguably if she was diagnosed, 15 years ago, we'd be seeing a lot more breakdown of her, specifically the way that she would make decisions or her coordination or things like that. I feel like probably you would have been able to see it. So I don't really understand how you can argue that. But I'm sure these are all going to be things that are going to come under scrutiny through the lawsuit that Britney has going on right now. And I am trying to follow that. It's a lot right now, in all honesty. So I will let you guys know when I have a better handle on all of it, because I think that is the next thing I'm gonna have to start looking into. It did look like there was a very interesting ruling that Jamie's lawyers are not going to have access to a lot of the paperwork, because the judge doesn't feel like it's right for them to have access to some of it. It's very confusing, but it seems like things are moving forward. It seems like things are moving forward, and I am very happy to see it. All right. Well, shall we move into our fun section of the stream, everyone? What do you think? I think we can do a what the what. All right. So, this was one that producer sister found, and she really, really enjoyed it, and she wanted to share this with us. And it was tweets, painfully relatable tweets or posts by people done with adulting. And I personally love the term adulting. I use it probably too much, but just kind of this idea that sometimes it's just having to make the wise decisions, the right decisions, the grown-up decision, and sometimes you just have enough of it and you're done with adulting. Just done with doing the grown-up stuff. It's just so frustrating. So I'm here for it. I'm here. All right. Are we ready? Yes. Adulting is hard. Adulting is hard. It's hard and I don't like it. Also, before I start, I have to say, oh my goodness, thank you, Kimberly, for gifting another 5 memberships. That's super kind of you. Thank you so much for doing that. That brings us to 27 today, right? Awesome. Thank you so much. Welcome to the 27 new Space Angels. I'm so happy to see you here. And Katie Artist 94 sent in a super sticker. I believe I saw it. I think it was hype. Thank you very much, Katie. I appreciate that. Yep. Yep. Shauna, I've been done with adulting since my mid-30s. Donna, I'm done with adulting for the day. Yep. 100%. 100%. Kyle, this is going to be way too much, even without seeing it. I know. And that's the thing. None of us know what we're doing. What even is adulting? We're all just trying to do the best we can, right? Thank you very much for the super sticker, Nora. It's very kind of you. The emoji. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate that. All right. Let's go. So Eden says, adulthood is basically just like trying to fall asleep at night. It's basically just trying to fall asleep at night and stay awake during the day. Yeah, the accuracy of that. Does anyone here suffer from insomnia? Put a 1 in the chat if you suffer from insomnia, because I feel like a lot of people do. You know, like we're exhausted during the day, we're so freaking tired, and then when we try to relax at night, we can't turn off our brains, and we just lay there knowing that we're gonna be exhausted tomorrow, and there's nothing we can do.
Yelling at yourself to fall asleep.
Yeah, yelling at yourself to fall asleep. You pull out a textbook and start reading that to try to help yourself get bored. And the next one is the user said, I don't know how to explain it, but adults back in the day looked a lot more adult. You know what? I think some of that as a millennial, if I can just share this, and this is the reality, the wealth distribution amongst the millennial generation is not great compared to previous generations. And then you add in inflation, then you add in student debt, then you add in a lot of things. A lot of us don't have money. So instead of, saving for a house we will never be able to afford a down payment for, some people just decide to really, really go into their hobbies. And I'm sure other people that are in different age groups relate to this as well. I'm not just saying this is a millennial thing, but it's almost like I've heard a few people say, like, your 30s are for when you have some money and you can go back and enjoy the things that people shamed you enjoying when you were younger. And as I look behind me in my set, I can't argue that. I can't. That reminds me, I didn't show you guys. Producer sister actually very graciously offered to put her Janet Jackson vinyls on the shelf here for today. Her vintage ones. They're super cool. Again, obsession with music, not being able to necessarily get all the music we wanted to back in the day. We now just buy all the music. We use Spotify, we do all those things, we do the vinyl, all that stuff. It's just a good time. Yeah, but like I think that's part of why like sometimes Funkos are really popular and things like that. We all just want to have fun. We just want to have fun. Life sucks. Let's just have fun. I did just see. Thank you very much, Buffy Rocks, for giving 5 more memberships. That is amazing. So I think that brings us to 32. You guys are incredibly generous. Thank you very much. Welcome to all the new Space Angels. It means so much. You guys are wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And I don't know how to react sometimes to it. It's hard. It's hard. Okay. Should we go to the next one? Should we go to the next one? As we've all found out that we all collect like little toys and we all have sleep problems. We'll connect on these issues. Anna said in her tweet, in my experience, adulthood is mostly piling up stuff on surfaces and then eventually having to clean up those surfaces. Yes! I feel like that's also ADHD, right? We have our piles and we have like our doom piles. I have one in this room I need to deal with and I look at it every day and I feel shame. And I'm sorry, producer sister. Like it's all about the piles. It's all about the piles. And sometimes the piles are just too hard. This is calling me out hard. This is calling me out really, really hard. This is my 84K in high def in front of you. Oh my gosh. Okay. Kyle! My whole life is a doom pile. The way I feel that. It hurts a lot. Oh, okay. That Karen says, kid falls out of tree. I'm fine. Adult sleeps on neck a little strangely. I have to turn my whole body to look at you for the next week. I once put my back out brushing my teeth. Not even kidding. And I know my back issues are bad. Like I've always had back problems, so mine are like accelerated. But I just remember that moment that I would like. I think I had just turned 30, and I was like, "Oh, it's all downhill from here. This is not getting any better." Oh my goodness. It's really, really, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. Yeah. Okay. Next one. V said, adulthood is being really excited to buy new underwear and socks, but also stressed about the cost of new underwear and socks. Why is that so accurate? I've been looking at socks. I have this thing. I don't know if anybody else has this. Bath and Body Works has these shea infused socks. They don't have them all the time, but when they come out, they're like my favorite. They're my favorite, and I just want them all the time, but they are expensive because you have to buy them per pair, and they're like luxury socks, essentially, basically. And I just want all of those socks, but I don't want to pay for it. I just don't because they're socks, and I feel ridiculous. I feel ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, okay. Chris said, adulting is cooking something and it's not tasting the best, but you eat it anyway because you bought those groceries so your money can't go to waste. Yep. Yep. 100%. 100%. But I think too, through adulting, you also learn to cook things that are better and you learn to buy things that aren't going to go bad as much if you're not eating them. And hopefully we all evolve and are adulting, feeding yourself abilities. It's always difficult. I feel like this would be great if I had a sponsor like HelloFresh said, and that's why I use HelloFresh. You can use code. No, but I don't have HelloFresh. I will tell you guys, I got an email this morning. I didn't tell you this, producer sister. I got an email from a potential sponsor. I want to be clear. I don't have a problem with doing sponsors. I'm not against sponsors. I like keeping lights on and I also like enjoying new products. It's all a good thing. But I got an email from Temu.
No.
I'm going to state this publicly. I'm not cool with what Temu is doing from what I've seen. I care about you guys too much to do that. I'm not doing that. There is no money they could pay me. None. Not interested. Absolutely not. I'm blocking it. It's done. So, yeah, please know that in the future, hopefully, if a sponsor does reach out to me and wants to support me and support this channel, I will absolutely have that discussion. But I'm not going to collaborate with a company that I'm like about. Okay? No, it's not happening. Okay? I love you guys too much. Let's keep going. So, Marie, who's Amber's tortilla ship. I don't know what's happening with you, Marie, but you're an interesting person. It's currently 3:22 a.m. and I'm sitting in my living room naked, wrapped in my duvet, eating chocolate. I've peaked at adulting. Why do I feel like it should just start with, you're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys are asking me what Temu's doing? Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can find this up.
Katie also said good adulting to you, rejecting them.
Good. Thank you. Okay. I'm not going to get into the whole nitty-gritty of all of it, but just so you guys know, there's lots of investigations about this. You do not have to take this from me. Please do your own research. Better Business Bureau. Using Temu could expose consumers to identity theft and other issues. We know that Temu has said they're trying to work on it. There's a lot of things going on with it. But yeah, this is kind of the the issue here. And it's according to cybersecurity experts, if they infiltrate your phone and the operating system, they can get to other apps and applications you're using. They're concerned that they can even get your contacts too and get that information. So people have to be really careful because your information is a gold mine. And if it ever falls into the wrong hands, it makes it easy for identity theft. And the issue is that for me, what I found on the internet is if it's free or if it's really cheap, and from what I've heard, their business model doesn't really make a lot of sense, because how can you turn a profit if everything you're selling is that cheap, right? And it's because, according to some people, according to some opinions, it's that the products are not the product. Your information is their product. That's what they make the money on. And it's concerning. There's been a lot of issues going on with it. So I just would say, please be careful with it. And do your own research. Please do your own research. Because there's just been some really shady stuff. Yeah. Oh, I love that, Houston. Yes, you can tell if you're the customer or the product by whether you're paying or it's free. 100%. 100%. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. Next one. One of y'all said that adulthood is just constantly cleaning the kitchen. And yes, accurate. Oh my gosh, our dishwasher broke. The way I feel this right now. Ooh, ooh. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Okay, I sorry. I am also seeing some people in the chat being like, "Oh no, I've used them. What am I going to do?" I would say, if you are concerned about this, there are different antivirus softwares available that you can look into that also have identity theft protection and checks, and they actually will scan the dark web to see if your information is being sold. I don't know 100% which ones are the best or which ones are not, but there are ways that you can find out what's going on and services that can help remove those things if it's becoming a problem for you. Um, but just know that this is a problem that some companies are aware of and they're trying to find ways to fix it. You are nowhere near alone in this issue. But it's just it's so difficult, and I hope that in time our legislation and things like that will stop these things from happening, if that makes sense. But yes, Kyle. Washing dishes to use the dishes, only to put the dirty dishes back in the sink. Can't win. Yeah. Also, producer sister just said, make sure you don't have a credit card saved in your account. That is something that you can do very quickly. You can remove it. They don't have it, and that's it. So that would be a. Yeah, KDR74. Didn't Steph say these companies have to remove your data by law if you request it? I believe in most countries, yes. That doesn't mean they do. Because a lot of what they're doing in the first place is illegal. However,
Company, Ashley Madison.
What?
Ashley Madison. You could pay to get them to delete your stuff, an extra fee, and they didn't do it, even though you paid.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, producer sister just informed me that reportedly Ashley Madison, the Ashley Madison site, there was like a benefit that you could pay for them to remove your data.
Yeah.
And people did, because they didn't want people finding out what they were doing, but they didn't delete it.
It was just an extra cash flow.
That is absolutely, oh my gosh, that is unhinged. That is unhinged. Wow. Wow. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway. Yeah. The internet's fun. Okay. Let's keep going. Pi said, growing up is realizing that adults were faking it all along and no one knew what the F was really going on. We all just like learning as we go and faking it till we make it. The accuracy! So accurate. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's the thing, right? Like with my CPTSD, a lot of my trauma started in childhood, right? And one of the things that was like probably the most difficult for me to process within therapy was that there were so many things when I was a kid I called out and I was like, that's weird, or that's messed up, or I don't like that, or I don't think that should be happening, or I don't think that's cool, or that's not very nice, you know? And then it would be adults being like, basically, shut up, kid, you don't know anything, you're wrong because I'm an adult. And now I'm an adult and I look back at these situations and I go, no, 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 you were just a bad person. I was 100% right. Nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody has all the answers. Everyone's just doing the best they can with what they've got. And some people are just bad people. Does that make sense? I just, oh, it's so ridiculous. Okay. Xena said, guys, I think I really missed out being so well behaved as a kid and teenager. I should have caused all the harmless but delightful chaos when I had the chance. And I assume that's an expletive of like regret. Probably like D. D it.
I think so.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. I can think of times, but I mean, I was a good kid overall. But I had my moments. I had my moments. All right. It's pretty rude that adulting cuts into my book and documentary time. Right? Right? I'm trying to educate myself. But I have to do all of these other things. How am I going to get smarter? It's ridiculous. Adulting is getting pissed off anytime your phone rings. Yes, because anyone that actually knows me knows that a lot of the time when you call me, for example, right now, I can't pick up my phone. I'm busy. I'm a busy person. So you text me or you message me or whatever, and I will do my best to respond to you in a timely fashion. Unless it is an emergency, but like text me. Just text me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And I know some people think that that's really rude. I've read that people are like, these kids these days, they don't like to answer the phone. And it's like, yeah, but at the same time, how presumptuous is it that you're just going to pick up the phone and call someone and that they have to stop everything, whatever they're doing, to answer the phone to talk to you? You don't know what they're doing. You don't know. Just text them. It's not that hard. And and be like, and like I have said so many texts in my life that are like, is it cool if I call you in 5 minutes? Are you available?
Tell me when is a good time.
Yeah, when is a good time for me to call you? Because 9 times out of 10, because everyone that I talk to prefers that. Not to mention that I am friends with a lot of introverts that hate phone calls. Oh my gosh. I'm an extroverted person. I can be kind of an omnivert, in all honesty. But the way that some introverts absolutely loathe phone calls is on another planet. I have like some of you are just like, no phone calls. Like it's so against them. And I'm seeing you guys saying it in the chat. And it's like, you guys hate it that much. So whenever I've said to any of them, like, is it okay if we just text more than we call? They're always like, yes, thank you. Oh my gosh. It's just this like relief that people have that they don't have to do that. And so 9 times out of 10, if my phone's ringing, it's a scam call.
Yep.
And that's why I'm annoyed. Because I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to. It's just ridiculous. And it doesn't matter how many times I block these numbers or I tell them to stop calling me or I ask them to delete my information, they just multiply. They're like a hydra and they never stop. And it's just, I don't I don't I don't want it. And so it's almost like sometimes I'm like, I just don't even want the ability for people to call me sometimes because it's just ridiculous. Sorry. Linda, yes. If it's not mom, I don't pick up. I'll text them back. Like, no. No. There's very few people I will pick up the phone immediately. My boss, I will pick up the phone. My mother, I will pick up the phone. The vet, I will pick up the phone. I can't. I can't. I agree with that. I agree with that. 100%. Adulthood is probably the worst hood I've ever lived. It's not always a very nice neighborhood, in all honesty. There's a lot of people here that are not very polite. Oh my gosh. Me at 14 reads 3 Harry Potter books in one day. How did you do that?
Must have been the first 3.
How did you do that? Because it wasn't Goblet of Fire. How did you do that? I'm impressed. I'm impressed by that. Me at 27 sees a text that's longer than 2 sentences. Holy ish. I just do not have time for this. I don't really feel that way about that, to be honest with you. But I also, I do write long messages. They're long messages or they're like by sentence. And I know that drives my husband crazy. Absolutely crazy. But like, I would rather have a long text message than a phone call. Hands down. Hands down. Okay. There's a great poll question. Would you rather read a long text message or answer the phone? Okay, let me know because I'm actually curious to read that. Like which one? We have to have some way for people to communicate with us. We may want to like shut off everybody from the world, but we do have to talk to other people. And I can already hear my husband saying something. Yes, babe, we have to talk to other people. We can't just be hermits. Communication and community is important. We have to talk to other people. Oh, we're getting it depends on who it is.
Mm-hmm.
I love it that the two of you were like at the same time. Holy Popo and producer sister.
If it's you,
Yeah.
I'd rather talk to you.
Yeah, she just said if it's me, she'd rather just talk to me, which is nice. I'm glad you want to talk to me. That's sweet. I don't know why, but
But if it's someone who gives me social anxiety.
Yeah, if it's someone who gives you social anxiety, though, it's like, no. No, thank you. No, thank you. Absolutely not. Yeah. Okay. The hardest thing about adulthood is still having to show up when you have absolutely no desire to. See, the thing is, though, I just want to say this, though. I felt that when I was a kid. I had to do so many things when I was a kid that I did not, like places I had to go, things to do I did not want to do. I just didn't. I had ADHD. I was bored. I did not want to do so many things. So I feel like that's just an emotion I've just always kind of felt. I don't know if that's weird. But it does get harder when you're an adult because you're like, I'm in control of my own life and I still have to do things I don't want to do. This sucks. Justin says, my morning routine includes 10 minutes of sitting on my bed thinking about how tired I am. 10 minutes actually isn't that bad. You do that very efficiently. I take much longer. Oh my goodness. Oh, just, ugh. No. Okay. We've got 2 more slides left, so we got 4 more. It's always something. Adulting in a nutshell. It's always something. And also, I think healthy adulting includes a lot of radical acceptance. The sense of it is what it is. The situation sucks. Your options suck. Everything sucks. It is what it is. There will always be something that sucks. And I accept that. And I do my best and I move forward. But sometimes having to do that for like so many things is just exhausting, in my opinion. Rose said, I moved to a new city 6 months ago, and I just worked up the courage to ask another mom if she wants to go for a walk sometime because adulting is hard. Please clap. Can we get some clapping in the chat, please? Let's get some applause in the chat for Rose. I know I'm kind of joking about this, but I'm actually like kind of serious because that is really hard to do. It's really hard to do. Making friends is hard. Making friends is really, really hard. I love how supportive we are to people we don't even know. Like, you go, Rose! You go, Rose!
I think a lot of us can relate to that.
Yeah, I think we can all relate to that. I feel like we're like supportive for people like Rose, and then we also are all united in our stance against the Dans of the world. We will not do it for Dan. No, we will not. Okay, excitement over getting new things we use for chores we hate is the weirdest part of being an adult. Oh my gosh. Okay. I had my moment. Our house needs a lot of TLC. We've been working on it since we moved in. It's a lot better than it was, but there's definitely parts of our house that still need attention. And we're working through it one project at a time. Yeah, there may be some construction coming soon. I may have to vacate this office for a few days depending on what's going on. We will see. But my bathroom definitely needs a full makeover. And it's like the shower isn't super great. I don't want to get super into it, but it definitely needs an update. But yeah, the cold and the hot are reversed. The temperature changes very quickly. So it will go from ice cold to burning hot. I've literally been burned in my shower. It's not a good time. Very, very quickly. And I'm pretty sure it was like a bath fitter type shower that went in, but it was not done well. I doubt it was bath fitter. I don't think bath fitter would have left the way that it was. So we've done our best to keep it all together, but I had a lot of trouble keeping the shower as clean as I wanted it to be. And it was because doing the shower cleaning movements, because I have back problems, it was getting more and more painful for me to do it. And then I found out that there are power scrubbers. It's like a wand that you can turn on that extends. So you can do like the top of the shower and everything too. And then there's multiple heads. So it can actually like really get in there. And then you can put the cleaner actually on the brush head and then go up there and really get stuff. And then it was like, literally, I can now clean my shower in like 10 minutes, whereas before it would have taken me over an hour. And when I found out about the existence of this power scrubber, I was so happy. And I remember I ordered it, like I impulsively just bought it off Amazon. I was so like fulfilled. And then I realized how excited I was about a scrubber. And that was when I knew I was an adult. And a part of me died inside. I recommend them, especially if like repetitive movements for you are painful. Things amazing. And the last one. Adulting is when you realize you'd rather stay at home than being excited to go to family events. I love my family. In all fairness, I do. I think sometimes it's just I think sometimes you're just so tired and things take effort. Sometimes you just don't want to put in the effort. And I know some people have families that are very testing. So I can absolutely understand that. Absolutely. I love everybody's just talking about cleaning products. What happened to us? What did they do to us? What did they do to us? Well, thank you very much, Producer Sister, for those. Can we get some applause in the chat for Producer Sister for putting that together? Some hearts, applause, whatever you guys want to do. Much love to producer sister. Thank you so much. I love how this is a discussion now. Jen said, hey, it's Kim. I don't know if you have a shower or a shower bath, but I can tell you how well Magic Eraser cleans the ring around the bathtub. Magic Erasers are magical. I love them. I absolutely love them. They are wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Oh my gosh. So I said, I hate things that are dirty, so getting things clean is exciting. You know what? Actually, I think I could probably actually show this. Why don't I do this? I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen these before, but I think they are one of the most satisfying things I've ever seen. And it's cleaning carpets. Like, it's just, I don't know if any of you guys have ever watched one of these. I'm going to give a call out right here. So this is a channel called, sorry, I'm trying to, Mountain Rug Cleaning. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is like the most, it's kind of gross. So trigger warning on that, but it gets better. And this guy just cleans these carpets. So these rugs, they're super gross. And so he starts just with like water and stuff, and you see him working through everything. I will put the link to this video in the description below. Please do not claim me. Yeah. So it's like all these different power tools, but like we remember how bad it was when he came in, but you just see all this stuff come out. And this video is like 20 minutes long. It goes through like every step. And like, oh my gosh, the rug has parts of it that are white. Like, this is insane. And just how many times they have to keep going over it. But it is so incredibly satisfying. Oh my gosh. It's just wild. It's wild. So I think there's like a before and after at the end. Yeah, and just pushing all the excess water out. It's so cool. It's so, so cool. But like, you wouldn't have thought that this rug, right? Like this rug was that rug. I don't know why, but I just find that whole thing incredibly satisfying to watch those. I'm going to put that in the chat right now. So is it Mountain Rug Cleaning? They have like a whole channel. I think I actually found them through like Instagram or something first, and I was like, this is so satisfying. Yeah, they call it Dirt Reynolds. They do. It's so funny. It's so funny. Oh, yeah. Jed's like, I've seen some of these. It's amazing. It is, and it's so satisfying. And I never thought that I would find that. Yeah, Donna. It's so relaxing. It is so relaxing. I love those. I love them so much. And I feel like that's another adulting thing. You know, you're an adult when you find comfort and relaxation in watching a dirty rug get cleaned. Oh my goodness. Carbonite Stardust, I end up watching obsessive compulsive cleaners when they send in folks with extreme OCD into hoarder houses and they clean them. See, those just make me feel really uncomfortable. They do. They make me feel so uncomfortable. And like my heart really does go out to people, and I understand that for them, like this is a sickness. And honestly, like the way that their homes are is a symptom. It is an issue within the sickness. And I totally get that. And it breaks my heart. But it's just, for me, I feel icky. I just feel so icky and I don't like it. Jean Rick, thank you so much for the super chat. Kim, you always make us smile. Thank you. Thank you, Jean. Thank you always for your support and your love. It's always good to see you here. Mowing and rug cleanings make me happy. What happened to us? Right? Like, what happened to us? Why are these the things that give us peace? Carbonized, hey, fastest way to take my fridge apart and clean it was to watch that show. I guess it does give you motivation. It does kind of call you out, you know? Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. I definitely see that. Rando, I watch overgrown lawn mowing. I've never seen that. Like I've seen like mowing videos in the sense of like seeing like the patterns and stuff, but just overgrown lawns?
Yeah.
I will have to look at that. Sounds interesting. Denise! This is 30. Stop! Yep. Sophia, the moment we realize we've turned into our parents, I think we just understand them more. That's all. That's all. Oh. I think I watch also. Oh, I could call this out. Oh, I can show you guys this. So I will share this with you guys, and I'll have to jump through because I don't want to have any issues. Let me see if I can find a good one. When the world went crazy, I'll say in 2020, I went through a period with my sister and my husband where my parents were actually in the States. And the communication, like the talking of lockdown started, and we were actually beginning to get scared that we weren't going to be able to get my folks home. And it was a very, very stressful time. We didn't know what was going on. I'm sure everybody remembers how awful those weeks were. Um, and so I was very, very nervous. And what we did was we just tried to find things that we would put through the house that would make us smile as opposed to leaving the news on all the time. We made sure we were informed. We made sure we listened to what was being said and we're trying to be wise. But we also really wanted to just look at things that didn't depress us because we were already so scared. And if we did not have better control, um, just of our emotions, like we wouldn't have been able to get anything done. So I found this channel called Shoe and Tree, and they are a dog groomer in South Korea, and they just show the whole process of grooming these little puppies. I love this one because she looks like Lacey. So they're like, yes, like you see the paws, and then they would do the blow dries and the trims. Yeah, I always love that. They go from like what they look like wet to after they've been blow dried and they've gone poof. And then they just kind of, and not only was that like, but like I learned better of how to like groom my own dogs. And then you kind of see like the before and afters and how they do all the stuff. And it was just so, so cute. And they have so many videos on this channel, and it's just the most relaxing thing for me ever. Yeah, it's over. And she's like, "Is it done?" I'm s- and then they always see when their owners come and how excited they get, which is always like my favorite part of it. Just the excitement. So, so cute. So cute. So much fun. Highly recommend. That was just one of those things I found through that time that just really strangely calmed me. Really, really calmed me. So I'll share that too. I'll share that too. What else do you guys watch to calm down? What helps you relax? What do you do to relax? JCY, can you speak Chinese? No. No, no. And it's really funny too because my husband has been taking Japanese for years, and it's sometimes he'll be able to kind of pick up some of the symbols, and he can kind of, not the symbols, but like the lettering in other, like in Chinese or Korean or whatever, and he's trying to like put it together and just see is anything even somewhat similar. Um, it's yeah, it's hard. They're complicated. They're complicated languages. I think all languages are complicated in all honesty though. It's a lot. Let me see. Carbonite Stardust. The poodle I knew was I knew best was my uncle's. They'd visit every spring. He'd get into the cows. Clover poops and jumps on us as green as the clover. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. That's so, so cute. Lacey actually really likes rolling in flowers. I don't really know why, but probably the smell. She just enjoys it. But that always made me laugh. That made me laugh. Yes, Whitney, Girl with the Dogs is another grooming one. I love her. I love her. I love her. Her sense of humor. And she's doing so much now for rescue and everything. It's just amazing. She's awesome. Carbonite Stardust. I watch Charlotte Dobre to relax. It soothes the petty gremlin in my soul. I love her. I love her. I love her. Let me see. For the record, Your Honor, you like ASMR videos? I've never found them to be very like comforting to me. Like I just don't. And I don't know why, because I know there's a lot of people that do find them to be, but I just don't. And I'm not quite sure why that is. I'm wondering if it's like a sensory thing. I'm not sure, but it's interesting. Donna said baking shows. Baking shows. Yes. Yes. I like nailed it. It makes me feel better about myself. Oh my goodness. Oh, for the record, ASMR ambience ones, not random sound ones. Yes. Okay. Yes. I listen to like rain when I go to sleep. I think we've talked about this. We listen to like rain when we go to sleep or different things outside. Yeah. All that type of stuff. It's a good time. It's a good time. For me, it's like when people do like the tapping stuff or they get really close to the mic and they start talking like this. I don't understand that. I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I hate ASMR, particularly people eating. I cannot stand listening to people chew. That is like a whole thing I've recently found out. It's like there is seriously like a mental connection with it. There's like a neurological thing that people that cannot handle listening to people eat. I am one of those people. Oh my gosh. It's so bad. It's so bad. And I used to be better at it, but I think it kind of developed when I was in my early 20s and I worked with someone who was a very noisy eater. And I just couldn't handle it after a while. And it honestly got to a point where I had to like leave. Because I could like feel this rage rising inside of me and I'm like, okay, this is not this behavior does not rationally like justify the way that I'm feeling in this moment, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm feeling this way in this moment. I need to vacate. Buffy, that's me. I passed it on to my daughter. And it's not like for me, it's not normal eating. Like it's normal, like normal chewing is fine. Normal chewing is fine. It's just when it's really loud. When it's really loud or when it's really slurpy. Really, really slurpy. That just I don't want to listen to people eat octopus. I don't want to listen to people eating stuff. Sorry, that sounds now on the internet forever. Oh gosh. Yes. Sorry, I love sounds to help me sleep though. Rain and storms and animal sounds. Found out that apparently listening to ocean waves is actually connected somehow to relaxing your nervous system. So, and I also love listening to rain. So I like to listen to both thunderstorms and ocean waves at the same time. I don't know why, but it really just it comforts me big time. That's so Denise, I also watch neurological exam ASMR videos because I've gone through so many of those and they are accurately satisfying. In real life, they don't last an hour. I mean, why not? Why not? If it helps you relax, then just do it. Just do it. It's a good time. It's a good time. Ah, Well, guys, we've been going for over 2 hours. I think I'm going to start winding down. So if there's any last minute support you guys want to send in or any last minute questions, now is the time. I will do my best to answer those questions and to help you out. Just double checking here. Carbonite Stardust, I'm addicted to rain and storms, those kinds of sound. I was insulted that the app has a snow sound. Well, yeah, I don't really find the snow sound to be that comforting. I just don't. It just means it's going to be cold. And I do really miss the sound of rain during the winter. I'm not going to lie. Like that, I actually do miss it. So, let me see here. Oh, Billy Cat, I live 5-minute walk from the beach. I can hear the waves from my house. Very soothing. I am so jealous of you. Oh my gosh, I would love that. I would love that. Random from Iowa. What sound does snow make? It's usually more associated with like wind. The wind can be more howling. Yeah. Yes, Christine, I cannot stand listening to people who eat / shoot. Close your mouth. Close your mouth. Close your mouth. Alrighty. Well, guys, thank you so much for being. Sorry, Carmen, I started. So sounds like no, no, no. It's like The Office. No. Oh my gosh. One time, Lena said one time Adam, her partner, suggested Alexa play country ambience, and it started playing ASMR farm animal sounds, and we were cracking up so bad. I would have been laughing too. Oh my gosh. Rando, I bet Dan likes snow. Do it for Dan. Do it for Dan. I love how that just lives on. You guys are amazing. What? What? Producer sister, why? Why are you telling me this now? Are you serious? Yeah. Hey, I gotta. You guys, there's an update for Dan.
It's a small one.
It's a small one, but producer sister just informed me. I am so excited.
So come back Wednesday.
We're gonna do it on Wednesday. I'm just finding out about this. I had no idea. I'm so excited. We're getting a Dan update. So be here on Wednesday. Do it for Dan. Do it for Dan. Oh, we're gonna have to summarize it too. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I don't know how we do that. It's not a big update. It's just a little one.
Okay, I've been told it's not that big. It's not that big. But I'm here for Dan part 2 or part 3. Part 3. Oh my gosh. Lita, imagine if you could interview Dan. No, I don't want to interview Dan. I want to I would do it like I would totally interview OP because he is amazing and I am so inspired by him. In all honesty, I really, really am. Oh gosh, I'm sorry, Denise. Denise, I mean, it will be available on the replay. The timestamps will be in the description. Oh my gosh, Houston. I know I don't know you very well because I've just seen you in the chat. But judging by some of the comments I have read from you, I am going to bet that you would love the Dan saga. And I will have to summarize it on Wednesday. But it basically is a Reddit post of the most entitled family I have ever seen. Dan is the golden child of the family, and the original poster of the Reddit is the scapegoat person. And the OP has made a life for himself without very much support at all. and has done amazing. And after he pulled himself out of just a terrible situation where he was living in a camper and he bought himself a house, his parents and his brother Dan basically tried to steal his house. And the cops got involved. It was a big, big mess. Dan is just the most entitled brat ever, and his wife is a piece of work. And then there was an update about the wife that was mind-blowing, and everyone was screaming because it was just like, what is even happening? But basically, the original poster is incredible. He's a great person. Dan sucks. The family sucks. The sister-in-law sucks. Everybody sucks. Except the original poster. And I would kind of be like, I would be hesitant to believe everything. But the thing is, like, from the sounds of it, he has video, he has police reports, he has all types of stuff. It's so funny. It's wild. And there have definitely been moments through reading everything that I was just screaming. I was screaming my face off because it was just, no. But one of the things that we joke about in this community is that the mother of the golden child and the scapegoat constantly was saying to the scapegoat, the original poster, do it for Dan. You've got to just do it for Dan. Do it for Dan. So that's why we all kind of just, we joke about it now and we just go, do it for Dan. Because we're all like, no, we won't. No, we won't. We won't do it for Dan. Absolutely not. Sure. Producer sister, I will get the links to the streams where we went through the Dan saga and put them in the comments of today's show if you want to go back and see. Okay, so we will make sure that that is available to you if you want to catch up before it starts. And it is, honestly, I know that it's long because it's a lot of drama, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. And the fact that we are still talking about this saga weeks after is really funny to me. And it's awesome. It's awesome. We're so invested. We're so invested. Oh. Yeah. Dan can go do one. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Dan can grab a cactus. Lace it with chili oil. Yeah. It was the Katie Artist 94 was right. It's the wildest dumpster fire. Lena, I love how we can all hear how we say, do it for Dan, without even knowing their voice. Well, it's either that like whiny thing or it would be like, do it for Dan. Do it for Dan. Just do it for Dan. You know, like that like emotional like manipulation. I like to think that it's the whining. I prefer the whining. All right, I'm going to end the poll. So it looks like 72% of you would rather read a long text message than answer the phone. That sounds about right. That sounds about right. I think we're all on the same page on that one. Yep, Kyle, 100%. 100%, right there. Do it for Dan. Well, you guys, I am going to stop the stream. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you all had fun. I had fun. I will hopefully just seeing you guys go, do it for Keon. The chat, it's really distracting. I'm sorry. I will see you guys Wednesday unless something comes up, which I will let you guys know. And we will continue with the book club. It'll be the second last one. And we'll see what Wednesday brings. So if anything changes, I'll let you guys know in a community post or I'll let you know on Instagram. But that is all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Much love to all of you. Please, if you don't mind, when the stream ends, I'll have the ending screen going for a few seconds. If you want to reload and leave a comment, it would mean the world to me. It just shows YouTube that there's engagement with the video separate from the chat. And that really, really helps with the algorithm. So if you would not mind doing that, it would mean the world to me. Please remember to like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for spending time with me today. And I will see you guys soon. And we'll play the outro. Much love.